There are two main functions we're going to use in Node.js to launch other programs or execute scripts or otherwise sort of communicate with other processes. The first of these is the exec function, which lives off the child process module, which is a built-in Node module. And it is actually just a wrapper for calling the default shell for my current account. On Unix-like or Mac machines, this is going to be bin bash or bin sh by default. And on Windows machines, this is just going to be command.exe. So let's write a little program which will take as a parameter a file to print, and it will just print it out. And we're going to do that by execing the appropriate command. On Unix, this is going to be cat, and on Windows, this will be type. So let's write a file called printer.js. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need the exec function. So I'm going to say require child process, and I'm going to just directly extract the exec function from within it. Now, I need to make sure I have exactly 3 arguments: the node interpreter, the current running script, and the file you want us to print it out. So I'm going to say if process.argv.length is not equal to 3, console.log what am I supposed to do, like that, and then let's just process.exit -1. Great. If I get this far, then I'm good. Now I need to know what command to execute, and that equals process.platform equals 132, type, otherwise cat. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the exec command with command, and then the actual thing they passed into us, which is an argv2. Now, the exec function does its work and then calls a callback function which takes 3 parameters, which are an error, if there was one, standard out, and standard error. The error will be an exception if there is one, and standard out and standard error are just buffer objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say console.log standard out.toString UTF-8, and I'll do the same thing with standard error as well. And if there is an error, I will say console.log error, like that. Okay. So basically, this is all I need to do to spawn something using the default shell. And actually, if I want, I can use all the shell operators I'm used to, like redirection or piping or anything like that. It really is just full-on executing this in the context of a shell. So now I should be able to say node printer, and it should squawk that I didn't give it a file. So let's say copy that file copy program to standard out, and that is exactly what it did there. So that's the basics of doing things with the exec function. I can just execute any shell script here, and then it'll execute the whole thing, and then when it's done, it'll give me the results of standard out, standard error, and if there was one, the error that resulted from this. And it's going to work the exact same thing on Windows. It'll run the type command instead of cat, and it'll still do produce basically the exact same output.